Shadow of the Templars. We're going to continue with the last one. I probably won't be talking too much, as it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't really need to talk much in this game though anyway. So with the church, we'll get on with that. Thank you.
I didn't have time to sit around. Excuse me, Father.
Pardon?
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Not at all, monsieur. It will be my pleasure to help you.
What do you know about the Knights Templar?
You have come to the right place, if that is your interest. Many of them were executed in the square outside. It was a disgrace to France.
Well, the Pope was right behind it, though.
Clement V was a man of mammon, not of God.
That's kind of forthright for a priest, isn't it?
You think so? It is hard to be sure what happened. It is so long ago.
How long have you worked here?
Hardly work, monsieur. This is a calling. I have been helping Father Flambert for nearly 6 months now.
I guess you don't know much about the history of this church, then.
Just a little.
You've got quite a shine on that candlestick.
Ah, oui. Anything less than best would be an insult to the Almighty.
I guess so. I never thought of it like that. I was in Ireland recently, and I brought back this plaster.
My sister brought back a shillelagh.
How about this for a gem?
It is very beautiful, monsieur. And yet, I feel that there is an air of suffering about it.
I've got a medieval tripod.
Monsieur, you are a walking treasure house.
Maybe not. Catch you later.
Au revoir.
On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack. A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell. I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout. Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported. Somehow, it looked more modern than its neighbor. In comparison to its neighbor, it looked pretty plain. A knight, there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess. Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
I noticed that the stained glass window on the left looks more modern than the middle one.
You have a keen eye, monsieur. The original window was destroyed in the last war. It was as old as the church, early 14th century.
Oh man, that's awful.
Oui, a terrible loss. Still, the church and the other windows survived.
Have you seen this man before?
No, I have never seen him before.
That is not a good idea. Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Hi again.
Oui?
Have you seen this man before?
No.
Feast your eyes on this.
Incroyable! Is it real?
I think so.
Some people believe that great gems always have curses upon them.
Oh, that's garbage. Although, now that I think about it, both of the people who had this before me disappeared in mysterious circumstances. And the guy who was supposed to get this was shot and then murdered in his hospital bed. Do you want it?
No, thank you.
I've got a medieval tripod.
And my Uncle Claude has hemorrhoids. So what?
It didn't seem right to fry somebody's palm when they make their living with their hands. Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
Hey, you! What do you think you are doing? Leave that cover alone. Now,
Sorry, no harm intended.
you stay away from that.
Hello again.
Hello again, monsieur.
What do you know about medieval ironmongery? Have a look at this little baby.
A tripod. What is it for?
You mean you don't know?
No, monsieur. Nor do you, I think.
Look at this gem. What do you think?
Cut glass.
No, it's not. It's for real.
What kind of madman would go around waving a priceless gem under people's noses?
So either it's glass or I'm mad? I didn't like to think about that for too long. Have you seen this man before?
No. Who is it?
I believe him to be an international assassin.
Oh!
Is that all you can say? Oh!
I did wonder if I should say that I believe you to be an international paranoiac, but it didn't seem polite.
Take a look at this.
Ah! An electrician.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
The pattern looks Middle Eastern.
What do you think of this?
A blood pressure sleeve.
Does this red nose mean anything to you?
Ah! You are a clown.
Do I look like a clown?
No. Although you juggle like one. Now, if I'd known you were a clown, it would have been amusing. And not a humiliation for you.
What do you mean?
Who ever heard of a plainclothes clown?
He had a point. So you're saying that if I juggle badly with a red nose, I'd be the king of comedy. But if I juggle badly without it...
You look like a pathetic loon. Oui, monsieur. You have it.
Do you know what this is?
Aha! You Americans with your notorious nose candy. I read Hollywood Wives. I know all about it.
If you tried to sniff this stuff, you'd wall up your nostrils. It's plaster of Paris.
It is. Thank heaven. For one awful moment, I thought I might actually have to arrest somebody. Alors, the paperwork. You have no idea.
Would you like to shake... I stopped myself barely in time. Electrocuting a cop would not have been smart. They'd rebuild the Bastille just so they could throw me in and throw away the key. What do you make of this grease paint stained tissue?
Delightful. Would you like to see some of my used tissues?
Hell no!
Then please put yours away.
Do you know what this is?
It's a sewer key.
I'll see you around.
Oui, monsieur. I'll be there.
Hi again.
Oui? What is it this time?
I'd like to have another try at juggling, please.
You have gone on a crash course, perhaps?
No. I just had an insight into presentation.
Huh?
Allow me to demonstrate. The balls, please.
If you insist on completing your humiliation, monsieur.
Okay, now for my secret weapon. The juggler was speechless with rage. You could have mistaken him for a mime. And without a word, he collected his balls and left in a fury. Hey! You forgot one of your balls! Hey! But he didn't hear. Better still, deprived of his entertainment, the gendarme decided maybe he ought to do some policing for a change. In French, English, and German it read, "In 1312, Pope Clement V dissolved the knightly order of the Templars and excommunicated its members on charges of heresy. In the following 2 years, many of the knights were hanged on this site. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burnt at the stake on an island in the Seine." The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence. My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe. The hook lay in a bed of chain. I pushed against the door. But it
Nice.
seemed to be locked.
How you doing, Yuds? Thanks for joining.
The door was a handsome piece of work. A weird little boat lay tied up. I guess they used it to get maintenance crews around. Either that or the Phantom of the Opera was somewhere near. On the boat was a winching machine. Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
Good, good. It's good to see you, Yuds. I don't really see you that much
Is the
anymore.
right-hand window original?
Oui, monsieur.
I'm glad you're decent, though.
Maybe not. What do you think of this?
A precious sleeve and valve? What should I think?
Never mind. I've got a red nose.
Oui, so you have.
There's grease paint on this tissue.
Oui, you are correct.
I thought about using the shake and shock on him, but I couldn't do that to a priest. I have here a sewer key.
Ah, oui?
Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. Carrying all that armor around must have been hard work. A stone knight lay at the end of a row of 4. I wondered if this guy had died in combat. I could see that what had at first seemed to be a fine engraved chasing on the scroll was actually writing. Per disciplinum meum lux videbus. Sounds pretty familiar to me. A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll. The statue had any secrets. It was concealing them pretty well. Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
You must be proud to have such an incredible collection of stained glass.
Pride is a sin, monsieur, but it is hard not to marvel when the light shines through them. It is a fine example of the artisan's genius.
Do you speak Latin?
You ask this of a priest?
Okay. Can you tell me what per disciplinum meum lux videbus means?
Let me see. That will be, by my teachings, you will see the light. I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Catch you later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
On the end of the staff was some kind... Per disciplinum meum lux videbus. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow.
I've got them all on
Hoping for a
YouTube
big
now, Yuds, if you want to
insight
check them
while
out.
Squinting through a hunk of statuary.
But it's nice for you to
Had
stop
been
by every now and
pretty
then.
optimistic, I guess. Per disciplinum. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow. Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary. Had been pretty optimistic, I guess. Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
Catch you later.
Au revoir.
PanCake, 300 scores, XD. Remember the XD. There should be a link to it on my Twitch channel, if you can't find it.
The hook lay in a bed of chain. Rats. It's locked.
Night night, Yuds. Have a good sleep, man. Nice seeing you again.
The hook lay in a bed of chain. Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie. Hey, I visited Nicole's apartment.
Yeah, she told me you came by.
Ooh, quite a fine Georgie boy. I didn't expect anything quite so sexy.
I hope you're referring to the manuscript.
Oui, of course.
What did you make of the manuscript?
It dates from the time of the Crusades.
We guessed that from the Templar seal.
It's a story and pictures like a modern-day comic book.
What story does the manuscript tell?
I don't know. It was probably produced for the tourist market.
Tourists?
Oh, oui, pilgrims in their thousands on their way to Jerusalem. The tourist trade is nothing new, you know. It's been around for centuries. Ever since Joshua made a packet selling souvenir bricks from the walls of Jericho.
Have you deciphered any of the images on the manuscript?
There's very little I can be sure about. The slang of the bull could be a reference to Mithras.
Who's he?
A Persian god, almost as popular as Christ at one time. The only thing I can be sure of is the knight. He's Spanish.
How can you tell that?
The writing on the shield, the reference to Ave Maria. No self-respecting knight from Northern Europe would have borne a coat of arms like that.
Can you identify the knight's coat of arms?
I already did, Georgie. He's a member of the De Vasconcelos family from the Costa Calida.
Were they famous?
No, they're not mentioned after the 15th century.
Oh.
The spotlight of history moved on. They're probably long dead.
What do you make of this?
It's the biggest gemstone I've ever seen. Where did you get it?
From Professor Pegram's messenger boy.
Pegram? Professor Nigel Pegram? He's in Ireland, investigating a Templar site, isn't he?
He was, until he disappeared.
Did Pegram find this on his dig?
Yeah, the site where this was found was a Templar castle. Do you think it could be part of the Templar treasure?
No, I shouldn't think so. You're not one of those crazies who think the Templars still exist, are you?
Well... Do you know Pegram well?
Not really. I met him at a I would have liked to talk to him in depth, but I didn't have time.
When was this?
Oh, back in the summer, July, I think.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Hello, George.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod. There's a guy working on a loom. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has three hideous faces. A knight with a crystal ball. The knight scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. Is there something going on between you and Labano?
What business is it of yours? We agreed all this. The clown, the Templars, strictly business, remember?
Yeah, but...
So get off my case.
Maybe not. That is not a good idea. Nothing happened.
Yeah,
The gem fits perfectly, but what does that prove?
maybe the tripod has to be in a certain location.
There's nothing on the manuscript to indicate where, though, is there? I'd better get back to the quest. I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack.
Ranchibu, oh yeah.
A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell. Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
I noticed that the stained glass window...
Yeah, it was a...
Oh.
Oui, a terrible loss. Still, the church and the other windows survived.
Right, I am struggling now to
Catch you
remember.
later.
Au revoir, monsieur.
To remember what we need to do. I remember I need to get something that I have to give to him. But then, to get to that point, I don't know.
I had no desire to talk to the crowd.
No, where is Ranch?
I pushed against the door, but it seemed to be locked. The door was a handsome piece of work. Rats! It's locked. There, in the middle of the door, I could see some kind of socket. The hook lay in a bed of chain. My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe. A knight there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess. A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll. The statue had any secrets. It was concealing them pretty well. I could see that what had at first seemed sounds pretty familiar to me. A a bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess. Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported. Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
Do you speak...
You are still...
Okay.
Let me see. That would be...
Yeah. Is the...
Oui, monsieur.
Catch you later.
Au revoir.
On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it.
I've had a few as well. Nice. So confused. Maybe we have to go to Spain.
Hey, you.
Yeah? What is it?
You would not like it if people just wandered into your home, would you?
Well, no, I guess not.
Then show a little consideration.
Okay. Sorry. Hi. Is this the De Vasconcelos house?
Who wants to know?
I could tell the old coot was going to be trouble. My name's George Stobart. I was wondering whether...
The house is not open to the public.
This is the De Vasconcelos house.
And what business is that of yours, senor?
Look, all I want is to speak to the head of the household.
There is no household. Only the Countess and myself.
Tell me about the Countess de Vasconcelos.
She doesn't receive guests. That's all you need to know.
You don't even know what I have to talk to her about.
She hasn't won the lottery, has she?
Yeah. That's it. The Countess has won the lottery, and I'm here to give her the check.
Marvelous. May I see it?
No. No, I have to deliver it to her in person.
The Countess doesn't do the lottery.
Oh, for crying out loud. Why'd you lead me on, then?
To amuse myself. To make you look a fool. To make you go away.
What do you know about the Templars?
Who wants to know?
Are you angling for a bribe or something?
You have nothing that I want, senor, except the pleasure of your absence.
The guy was obviously protecting the Countess against the whole world. But why? See this gem? Men have died for it.
Do I look as if I care?
Do you recognize this man?
No.
What do you think of this tripod?
I think nothing of it.
Would you like to shake hands?
I do not think so, senor.
I'll be going for now.
Adios, senor. Hey, you.
Yes?
I've already told you. You are not allowed in the house. Understand?
Okay. I didn't like the idea of carrying 30 yards of hose around me, so I left it alone. Hello again.
You again.
Yep, and it's a real bonus to see your smiling face, too. This lab pass mean anything to you?
Nothing.
Do you recognize this matchbook?
I don't smoke.
What do you make of this?
So that's it. You're a salesman.
If I was hawking medical supplies, I can think of better places to hawk them. I'll be going for now.
Adios, senor.
I'm no student of architecture, but the little building looked old. I wondered if it was some sort of summer house. Rats. It's locked. The door was a handsome piece of work, in keeping with the ornateness of the rest of the building. I wasn't about to go clambering on rooftops if I didn't have to. There was a statue of a guy on top of the building. He looked like a knight with a spear and some sort of staff. Down the long, dusty driveway was a road along which a bus traveled maybe twice a day. I knew because I'd arrived on one. And no way was I leaving until I'd got something concrete to show Nico. Hello again.
You again.
Yep, and it's a real bonus to see your smile. Have you got any use for a fistful of plaster?
No.
I don't suppose this red nose means anything to you, does it?
Ah! El Flojo.
El who?
El Flojo. He is a clown on state television.
Oh, is he any good?
He is as funny as scabies. Without the laugh.
Look at this tissue.
It's a tissue with some greasy muck on it.
Yes, that's right. There's a funny story about how I got this ball.
I don't want to hear it.
Do you know what this is?
See, I have a similar tool for opening culverts on the estate.
I'll be going for now.
Adios, senor.
The main part of the house was old, but nowhere near as old as the gatehouse section.
My hose has stopped.
Yeah?
See, my hose never stops.
Well, I'm sorry to hear it. It's always sad when an old tradition comes to an end.
Did you have anything to do with it?
Well, I'm shocked. I'm mortified. How could you think such a thing?
Very easily, senor. Very easily. I'm going to find out why my horse has stopped. And that means going into the house. You are not, absolutely not, to go in the house. If you do go in the house, I will set the dogs on you. Hey, you on the stairs.
Oops. I know this doesn't look good, but
Look, senor, all I want is a quiet life. A life without mad, house-breaking foreigners in it. Understand?
Look, I just wanted to, use the bathroom.
Leave now, please.
Okay, I'm going.
Hey, you. I know you are there, American. All right, you dogs. I'm coming.
Madre Dios, who are you?
My name's George Stobart. I'm sorry to burst in like this.
You must leave at once. You're not wanted here.
Please, if you'd just listen a minute.
Very well. State your business, Senor Stobart.
There's been a series of murders, part of some conspiracy. Anyway, the trail led me here.
Here? There is nothing for the outside world here.
Over 600 years ago there was.
What do you mean?
This whole thing ties in somehow with the Knights Templar.
The Knights Templar are dust.
They had a secret that was so important, they went to a lot of trouble to hide it.
I do not see what this has to do with my family.
Your family had a strong connection with the Templars, right? I believe that they have planted some clues here.
Why should I believe a complete stranger who barges into my home?
Just let me have a look around. If I find nothing...
You'll be spending the night at the police station. Very well. Please, sit down.
I know your family is involved with the Templars, but I don't know how.
You should be asking how my family were involved, Senor Stobart. The Templars ceased to exist centuries ago. And as for De Vasconcelos, the line dies with me.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
Okay, whatever happened almost 700 years ago. So, if the Templars left any clues, they're going to be in stuff that dates back to the early 14th century.
Obviously.
So, what do you have around here that's early medieval?
Early medieval. Let me think. Well, the house is relatively modern, a scant 3 centuries old. Or, of course, the chess set.
That chess set is over 600 years old? It must be worth a fortune.
Indeed it is. Not that I would part with it, of course.
No, I wouldn't either. That's the sort of thing that gets handed down to your children. Sorry.
Its value is less than you might think. The set is not complete. One of the pieces is a modern replacement. As to the original, it was lost a long time ago.
Nobody has any idea where it is?
No. The children had it when they were taken.
Children? What children?
All in good time, Senor Stobart.
May I examine the chess set?
Certainly. But do not move any of the pieces.
Okay, thanks. Close up, the modern piece stood out like a sore thumb. There was something else odd about the set. All of the original pieces had irregular bases.
My lady, I have to warn you, there's a... You! Why, I'll feed you to the dogs.
Lopez, what have I told you about feeding intruders to the dogs?
But, my lady...
Never without my permission. Senor Stobart, if I find that you're wasting my time, you will be fed to the dogs. Now, I want to show you something interesting. Follow me. Lopez, unlock the door, por favor. This is the only remaining structure on the estate contemporary with the Templars.
Nice. What is it, a summer house?
A mausoleum, Senor Stobart.
Oh.
Come with me.
Hey, senor.
Yeah?
I do not know what you have told my lady to be shown these favors, but I do not trust you.
You've got nothing to worry about. Aren't you coming in?
No, the dead do not interest me. My garden is a living thing. I will be there.
Wow, this is old.
It was constructed in the 13th century as the final resting place for the De Vasconcelos Templars.
It's well maintained.
These are my ancestors, and they deserve respect. I come here at least once a week to say a prayer for them.
Mind if I have a look around?
By all means.
Now what? There was nothing to snuff. Feeling like an idiot, I put it down again. I couldn't climb up there without breaking something. High up in the dome were windows. I guess they might open them to make it less stuffy in there. A big statuette of the Virgin Mary kept an eye on the place. On removing the Bible, I found a pattern on the lectern top. Hey! It's a checkerboard! Close up, I could see that the pattern was made up of glass squares over a checkerboard pattern. Hanging from the ceiling was a huge yellowed candle. It looked really old and had never been lit. Close up, I could see that the pattern was made up of glass squares over a checkerboard pattern. May I ask you something?
You may ask.
Is the Virgin Mary really the right person to be sharing a mausoleum with 5 knights?
You are showing your ignorance, Senor Stobart. The Templars were dedicated to the Virgin Mary.
What's the story with the glass chessboard?
Glass chessboard. Oh, the pattern on the lectern, purely decorative, I'm sure.
There are pieces of glass missing from it.
Oh, it has been like that since I was a girl.
The gaps in the glass chessboard look awfully deliberate.
No, it is ridiculous. What possible significance can it have?
It's part of a chessboard, and the gaps are for...
Senor Stobart, you cannot mean...
This place was built for the Templars. Your chess set is as old as the Templars. It's kind of suggestive, isn't it? I think this must be it. This is what the manuscript is pointing to.
This is extraordinary. Am I to understand that the Templars left a puzzle here? And in all of this time we failed to realize that there was a puzzle?
It was wonderful to watch the Countess change before my eyes.
Right. Well, no time for wallowing in self-pity, eh, Senor Stobart? This mystery has had a good long run, but it ends here and now.
All those years of fatalism were falling away from her.
Lopez! Lopez! Put that hose down and listen! Go to the house and get my chess set. Yes, the old chess set! Now hurry! My, this is exciting, is it not?
Don't get too excited. This could be a blind alley.
Oh, I do not believe that for a moment.
It's good to see you happy.
Happy? You know, I think I am.
While we're waiting, I'd really like to know what happened here. I mean, the curse and everything?
It all began at the time of the dissolution of the Templars. Don Carlos had already left their ranks to become a scholar.
Don Carlos. Is he the guy who went missing?
Si, but he had reckoned without the local bishop. The bishop envied us our lands and determined to use the papal edict as an excuse to destroy us. Don Carlos was on one of his scholarly journeys when the Inquisition arrived. When Don Carlos returned, it was to find his loyal manservant slain and his children gone.
They took the kids? But why?
Oh, we will never know. The bishop denied all knowledge of the children's disappearance. But witnesses had seen his men kill the servant who had been charged to protect them.
What happened to Don Carlos?
He swore he'd find his children if he had to go to the edge of the world. He put on his armor and took up his sword and shield and rode out alone. He was never seen again. Ah, Lopez, you have the pieces.
Si, my lady, as you asked.
Por favor, Senor Stobart, would you be so kind?
My lady.
Calm yourself, Lopez. I believe Senor Stobart's motives are pure.
Very well, my lady. My lady seems to trust you.
But you don't.
No, senor.
It fits, Senor Stobart. It fits.
Working quickly, I found which pieces went into which holes.
Right, this is a bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to just put them into random spots, to be honest, and then looking at what colours are on the bottom, and then trying matching them up either with the same colour or an opposite colour. But I don't know. It's a bit of guesswork, a bit of like, I don't know. It's not even logic. Oh, right, okay. That makes sense. Right, you can click the holes. Well, this makes it a lot easier, doesn't it?
With the red pieces in place, the square bases fit onto the white pieces. I just had to figure out where to place them.
Top middle. I'm still in check though, with the queen and the rook. It's a king, that.
Senor Stobart, look!
What is that?
The horse. Horse is a
The
knight.
Holy Grail, is it?
No, Senor Stobart. It is the communion chalice of the De Vasconcelos, missing for almost 700 years.
Wow. Well, go on.
I cannot. I can hardly believe it is real.
Go ahead. Live a little.
Are you sure? This is your moment of triumph, Senor Stobart.
Sure, I'm sure. The possibility of death traps only occurred to me a few days later.
So the curse of the De Vasconcelos is lifted?
Oh no, the Countess was thrilled to find the lost chalice, but there's still the riddle of the missing knight.
Well, you can forget about that now and get back to finding the Templar's secret.
Actually, I promised the Countess I'd find Don Carlos.
You what?
I can explain everything.
You have got the odds for a withered old Spanish aristocrat?
The Countess entrusted me with the chalice and the quest for her ancestor's tomb.
You're as crazy as she is. Haven't you got enough problems? Khan and the Templars?
It's all part of the same thing. The chalice is important, I'm sure. The manuscript pointed us to the knight, and I have to find him.
What then?
I don't know. But when the knight and the chalice are reunited, maybe I will. Just how long have you known Labano?
Andre? We met at college. He helped me out when I was a fresher. Showed me around, that sort of thing.
You never told me that before. I thought he was just a working acquaintance.
So he is. I rarely see him these days. You know, he hasn't changed much. A little lesser at the front, perhaps. I'd forgotten how much fun he could be.
I'd better get back to the quest.
You don't do chess, but you got that puzzle.
Hello again, Father.
Bonjour, monsieur. How pleasant to speak to you again.
What do you make of this chalice?
It certainly looks very old.
About as old as this church, I think.
There seems to be an engraving on it.
Yeah? What does it say?
I do not know. It is very tarnished. With your permission, I could try polishing it. I promise I will be very careful.
That'd be very good of you.
This shouldn't take very long. Feel free to look around.
Okay, thanks. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. Around the base of the disc was a hairline crack. Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported. The priest was still busy with the chalice, so I decided to have another look around the church. A scroll was a symbol of scholarship, I knew that much. A scholarly knight. That rang a bell. A very Spanish bell. A knight there in the company of his fellows. Biblical references engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world, I guess. A stone knight lay carrying all that armor around. A stone knight lay at the end. I wondered. I could see that what had at first seemed to per discipline. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary. Had been pretty optimistic, I guess. A knight. A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll. It looked a lot like the statue on top of the de Vasconcellos mausoleum. On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. The priest was still busy with the chalice, so I decided to have another look around the church. On the end of the staff was a statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll. So, there were almost identical statues here and at the de Vasconcellos estate. A coincidence? Yeah, right. A statue of a knight. So, there were almost identical statues here and at the de Vasconcellos estate.
Yeah, it's been a long time ago.
Yeah, right.
I started streaming it a while back, but then I only did like the first section. I just can't remember what to do with it. That's the statue though.
The priest was still busy with the chalice, so I decided to have another look around the church. Per disciplinum meum lux videbus. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through. Had been pretty. A stone knight lay in full stone armor, blank eyes looking at the ceiling. I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout.
I think that statue is of Don Carlos. But we have to wait until he's decide to run a loop around the church. Just gonna have a speak to Andre.
Hi, Andre.
Hello, Georgie.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Nothing.
Sergeant Moo?
Yes.
I'd like to report an assault.
Yes, monsieur.
I'm the victim. They stopped me.
Could you describe?
One looked like their name.
Bon.
See you later, Sergeant. I didn't have time to sit around. A row of old pews, beautifully carved and glowing with polish. I thought of all the people who must have sat here over the decades. All those Parisian derrieres, firm buttocks of the young ladies, the flabby flesh of the old men. That wasn't a pleasing image, so I went back to the young ladies. Whoa! A knight there in the biblical I guess. On the end of the staff, was around the base of the disc, was a hairline crack. A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll. It looked a lot like a statue of a knight. So, there were almost identical statues here and at the De Vasconcellos estate. A coincidence? Yeah, right. The priest was still busy with the chalice, so I decided to have another look around the church. A scroll was a symbol of scholarship. I knew that much. A scholarly... I could see that what a bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic.
Right, what can we do? What can we do? Because it's going to have to be like a trigger to let him complete that. I think it's going to be something to do with statue, but I don't really have anything that's going to help me do it.
In comparison to its neighbor, it looked pretty plain. I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout. A statue of a knight holding a staff. So, well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported.
Hello, George.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
A knight with a crystal... The knight scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod. There's a guy working on a loom. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has three hideous faces. Do you want this photograph back?
No, you keep it. I can always make another print.
I'd better get back to the quest.
It's something to do with the statue.
On the end, around the base, a stat. It looked a lot like a coincidence? Her disappearance had been. The priest was still busy with the chalice, so I decided to have another look around the church. A stone knight lay in full stone armor, carrying I wonder. A knight.
Yeah, but don't tell me. Just let me know if I'm in the right place or not.
Is engraved into the tomb edge to guide his way to the next world. I guess.
It is something to do with this statue. Could you do something and it unlocks this? But I need this chalice back, and he's not done it.
The priest was still busy.
So we need to find the trigger, what we need to do until he's finished that. It might not even be here.
Well, I could have just, but other than.
Right, okay. So, it doesn't seem like. Let's have another look around the church. So, what we're missing with the church?
A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll. So, there were almost identical statues here and at the De Vasconcellos estate. A coincidence? Per disciplinum meum lux videbus.
Is it something to do with this scroll?
A bit of a stained glass window. Wow. Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
He looks like he's pointing down. I don't have anything I can use with it. Oh.
On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it. On the end of a statue of a knight. So, a coincidence? On the end of the.
It's not saying anything about it being deported now. Can't just like use the card with it, crack it open.
Per disciplinum meum lux videbus. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow. Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
do we do? Is it something to do with that scroll? Electrocute it.
I didn't recognize the biblical story in it. I was a Sunday school dropout. Per disciplinum meum lux videbis. A bit of a stained glass window. Wow. Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess.
It's like he's got...
Per disciplinum meum lux videbis.
It's like he's got two fingers pointing up and one finger pointing down.
A bit of a stained glass window. Wow.
If he's pointing down, he's pointing... this guy.
A stone knight laying full...
But he just says that. He just says that. Let's put a red nose on.
On the end of the staff was some kind of disc with a cross on it.
Is this something that I have to put into the scroll? Yeah. Is it something I've got on me? I've got plaster of Paris, Cannes photo, the clown nose, the grease paint tissue, the electric shock hand device, tripod, the gem, the Gruber Electronics Merlin ID, the matchbook from that place, sewer key, and a ball. Right, so I have to find something. Is it... I don't know. Is there anything down there that I need to do? I don't think there will be. The museum's jumping out at me. But I can't really speak to him.
Pardon me?
Oui, monsieur?
I don't really want to talk to him about any of that, to be honest.
Thanks for your help. The case was empty. Hi, Andre.
It's a lens of some kind, isn't it?
Hello, Georgie.
Something that acts as a lens.
What does this ball mean to you?
It's a juggling ball.
But I don't know where to get
love
it.
juggling.
I don't know where to get a lens.
Thanks for your help, Andre.
You're welcome.
Police station. It won't be at the cafe, will it? There's no one I can ring either.
There was nothing of interest. It smelled like someone had dumped a truckload of fish in a locker room on a hot summer afternoon.
Oh, don't try with bare hands, George, you daft thing.
The cover was too heavy and awkward to lift with my bare hands. I lifted the cover to reveal what smelt like the entrance to a sewer.
I keep my eyes peeled.
Hi there, remember me?
Ah, mais oui, Inspector. Have you found him?
Who?
The man in the sewer, of course.
I'm, sifting through the evidence.
Ah, rather you than me, monsieur. So, when you are not exploring sewers, what do you do?
I take a lot of showers.
Right, where is the lens?
Oh, very good, monsieur. A policeman with a sense of humor.
I'm not going to get anything from him, Mama. Let me think. It's the lens at the church. Right click the scroll. I can't right click it.
A statue of a knight holding... It looked... It was a large blue gemstone. It was a simple but elegant tripod made of metal, with traces of colored enamel still visible in places. It was the shaken shock buzzer I'd been...
So it leaks through it. No, it won't let me right click the scroll.
On the end, around a statue. So, a coincidence. A coincidence. The priest was still busy with the chalice, so I decided to have another look around the church. It was the
I'm stumped. I'm stumped. What do I need to do? See if there's anything we can find down here. Something we've missed.
The hook lay in a bed of chain. There were 3 arches, each with an inscription. The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about... There were 3 arches, each with an inscription. The door was a handsome piece of work. I pushed against... There, in the middle of the door, I could see some kind of socket. The priest was still... Well, I could have just taken the end off the staff, but I wanted to be sure what I'd be getting out of vandalizing a church, other than deported. A statue of a knight holding a staff and a scroll. So, there were almost identical statues here and at the De Vasconcellos estate. A coincidence? Yeah, right. Per discipline... A bit of a stained glass window. Wow! Hoping for a big insight while squinting through a hunk of statuary had been pretty optimistic, I guess. Per discipline...
She's just gonna keep doing that. I can't right click it.
Bit of a... Had been... A statue of a knight. So, a coincidence.
I thought it was something to do with that wheel on his chest that he's got. I'm gonna have to have a look. I'm gonna kick myself as well, because I probably know it. Right, so I need the lens, but where do I get the lens from? I don't think we're up to this bit yet. We're not up to that. We're not up to doing that bit yet. Are we not? I know what we're doing wrong. I know what we're doing wrong. We're jumping gun. We're not ready for this yet. We're not ready for this.
The inscription was hard to read, but I made out there were 3 arches, each with an inscription. There were 3 arches, each with an inscription. The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The wall seemed in very poor condition. The inscription was undecipherable. The plaster had cracked and was falling away. I wondered why. The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier. There were 3...
That one seems the weakest.
There were 3 arches. The hook lay in a bed of chain. There were 3 arches, each with an inscription. The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The inscription was hard to read, but I made it. My medieval French isn't much, but the few words I understood seemed to say, "This is where the gallows used to stand." Maybe. There were 3 arches, each with an inscription. The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence.
Right, so I'm going to have to use this chain on one of these doors. I think.
There were 3 arches, each with an inscription.
Luke.
The inscription was hard to read, but I made out Templier and something about innocence. My medieval French isn't much, maybe. The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. There were 3 arches, each with an inscription. 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 The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The Mine, maybe.
Try inspecting them. Instead of
The
looking
wall
at
had.
them. We'll try this. That might have triggered.
The hook lay in a bed of chain.
Right. It says on here, click on the 3 doorways. Examine the one on the right after examining the other 2. George notes that it's weaker than the others, so it's not really said that.
The inscription was hard to read. My medieval French isn't much, but maybe. The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The hook...
Maybe I have to go around the corner and make sure we can't get through the door.
Rats! The door was locked. The door... The wall had flaked, and anything once written on it had long since gone. The hook... It was time for some brutal destruction. Hey, that's hollow! I'd poked a hole in an historical site. If any archaeologists came by, they'd lynch me for this. There was some sort of mechanism hidden inside the wall, with a lever in the middle of it. Here goes. The secret door had jammed. I couldn't get through that gap.
Right, okay. So all you need to do is punch a hole in it. Right, we're getting somewhere.
In the beginning was the end.
An end wrought by our enemies began our darkness.
In the end will be a beginning.
An end to our enemies
Heralds our new day!
Report. The military establishments are in flux. The end of the Cold War has left them with no clear goal and as obvious targets for budgetary cuts. We have successfully promoted a sense of betrayal in the upper echelons. They feel that the politicians have cast them adrift. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Good. Mademoiselle?
Governments are giving the corporations more respect than their own citizens. A groundswell of dissatisfaction and dissidence is growing. The corporations are becoming too large and complex for their own executives to control them. A blind belief in market forces is accelerating this trend the world over. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
The global population's belief in those that govern it has never been lower. We have inculcated a sense of immediacy and action over forethought and planning in all the major governments. They are acting on hasty decisions that cannot be completed or revoked without appearing foolish. The pattern is emerging. Our time is now.
Excellent. The tired old governments are dying a slow death from their own incompetence and our machinations. Professor, where is the broken sword?
As we discussed last time, with the loss of the manuscript, our search is as a corollary hindered.
And as discussed last time, you have been furnished with a dramatically increased budget. What have you been doing with our money, Professor?
We are working on the principle that the Templars, that is to say our predecessors,
Hold on. These are the Templars?
must have left a trail when they were hiding the clues to the sword of Baphomet's location. I have a small army of historians and archaeologists ferreting out that trail.
I trust these historians and archaeologists are more trustworthy than your friend Pegram.
Pegram was loyal. He tried to protect the Lochmarn gem when the Hashashin came near.
And failed. And don't call that Syrian maniac the Hashashin. He's an assassin. Plain and simple.
That's not what he believes. He actually thinks.
Silence! Do I have to remind you that we have a sacred duty? A trust? When Philippe attempted to destroy the Order, we lost the sword and our power with it. Now we have the opportunity to reforge it. But time is short. We need results, not petty bickering, not excuses. Now, Professor Baphomet.
Yes, of course, my apologies. We will find Baphomet and the sword, manuscript or no. We have already found another element actually within Paris.
Excellent. What is it?
Well, we're not exactly sure at present.
Ha!
But I have my best people working on it. You would do well not to criticize others, Eklund. At least I have not murdered one of our own.
Of course. That guy was the bogus doctor in the hospital.
Marquet was a liability. Eklund dealt with him on my orders.
I beg your pardon, Grandmaster. I did not mean to.
Have you any good news for us, Professor?
We already know 3 of the elements. We know that Klausner had obtained the lens before he vanished.
Where was he?
Syria. We know that he arrived, but after that, nothing.
The assassin.
I fear so. It's a shame. Klausner was a good operative.
This will be our last meeting in person until we locate the sword of Baphomet. I hope that I don't need to emphasize the importance of finding it. Without it, our endeavors come to nothing. With the sword reforged, we will have the power to sweep the stage of all opposition. The next time that we meet, it will be to become the princes of this world!
Wow. In the middle of the circle was a stump of stone, a shaft of daylight from the world above lancing down to touch it. The tripod's feet fitted neatly into the notches on the top of the stump. The light falling from above struck the gem and scattered in 5 neat rays, and each ray picked out a letter. Starting from the left, I could read M-A-R-I-B, Marib. Now all I had to do was figure out what the heck that meant. Nico, I've seen them.
Who?
The Templars. I spied on their meeting in the catacombs.
And you saw the Knights Templar?
I saw a bunch of guys masquerading as Templars. They're after something called the Sword of Baphomet. The bogus doctor was there, the guy who killed Marquet. The manuscript is the key, just as we thought. It shows the way to the broken sword, whatever that is.
And how does the assassin fit into all this?
He's out to stop them. These Neo-Templars, they're men and women in influential positions. Don't you see? Plantar was one of them. The assassin killed him for the manuscript, to stop them finding the sword.
But now we have got the manuscript.
Yes.
So, how do they hope to find the sword?
I don't know. They said something about a lens and a guy called Klausner who's gone to Syria, but they didn't seem to realize the significance of the very site of their meeting. You see, after they'd gone, I discovered a stone pedestal and a carved inscription. I set up the gem on the tripod, directly below a beam of light. The gem split the beam and lit the letters M-A-R-I-B.
Marib is a village in Syria.
Then the Neo-Templars are ahead of us. Klausner beat me to it.
You're not thinking of going there yourself, are you?
Why not?
These guys are crazy and dangerous. That reminds me, you should leave the gem here.
Okay. What about the tripod?
I'll send it back to Andre, anonymously.
Do you think I should go to Marib?
Syria is a long way, Georges.
Hey there, young fella. Speaky you the English? Speaker you the Anglaise? Parlez-vous anglais?
Yes, si, and indeed we, and rather better than you by the sound of it. My name is Nicho. Welcome to my grand emporium of quality merchandise.
So, this is your stand?
Oh, yes, sir. Though stand does not begin to do it justice. The finest in this bustling metropolis.
This is a bustling metropolis?
Well, not per se, no.
Mickey, good morning. Thank you for joining. How are you doing?
How much are those books there on the shelf?
Have you any Syrian pounds?
I think I might have a couple of Irish pund.
Then they're too expensive for you, sir.
You speak very good English.
Thank you, sir. I learned from tapes that my uncle procured.
Oh, a language course.
No, sir. Jeeves and Wooster. Cassie, Fink, Noto, Aunt Agatha. What ho?
Is that your father lurking in the back of the stand?
He is indeed a roaring fellow. Ayub's his name.
You don't sound like you respect him very much.
Don't I? Not only do I respect him, I rather like him. For all his bluster, we get on very well.
Does the word Templar mean anything to you?
Templar. Templar. Templar!
Good, thank you, Mickey.
Yes, of course.
Glad you're alright too.
Yes.
You'll come round to get a coffee.
Splendid series of books by Mr. Leslie Chatteris, featuring the roguish Mr. Simon Templar.
Great. That's a real help, Nijo. Anything else?
The Saint television program, featuring Mr. Roger Moore of the quizzical eyebrow, and a stick man with a halo. Bing!
So all Templar means to you is Roger Moore.
I only watched it for the stick man with the halo. Bing! He was better animated.
So I'm correct in saying that the word Templar doesn't...
Well, there was the Order of Knights who were wiped out in an Inquisition in 1312, I suppose.
That's them. What else do you know?
Just how much information do you think there is on a Trivial Pursuit card?
A what?
From the medieval edition. We had it on the stand a couple of years ago. Ask me what a feuter is. Go on. I know all this stuff.
Never mind. Okay, forget about the Templars for a minute. What do you know about knights?
Like the Crusaders, they came to the East on an insane and pointless mission. They sacrificed thousands of lives, including their own, for insensate pride. How anyone can find them romantic confounds me.
Here, shake hands, Nijo.
I'd rather not, sir.
What do you think of this, eh?
Oh, sir, what a splendid plaything. One day, when I am rich, I am going to build a world-renowned collection of brightly colored balls.
Are you serious?
In deadly earnest. People will come from far and wide to see my
Yes?
collection. The Rockefellers and the Gettys can keep their hoards of so-called fine art. But answer me this. What good is a Picasso, I ask you, if you cannot bounce it off a wall?
You may have a point. So long, Nijo.
Toodle peep, sir.
Hi,
Dwayne.
I was wondering whether you
It's
could
Dwayne.
help me.
Why, sure, son. Always got time for a fellow American. The name's Henderson. Dwayne Henderson.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Henderson.
Hell, boy, I'm not in the office. Call me Dwayne.
Oh, okay. Dwayne? My name's George Stobart. I saw a medieval picture of a woman, royalty or nobility, something like that. She was looking in a mirror, but the reflection was of a man with 3 faces. What do you think of that?
I think you should be in therapy.
Do you think bulls have any significance around here?
Weird question, George. Nope, I don't think they
Sounds
have.
good, Mickey. Make me want to.
Do you mind if I ask you an odd question?
Okay, but I might not answer it.
Do you know anything about the Templars?
The Knights Templar?
Yep.
Nope. Nothing at all.
Well, you knew they were an order of knights.
What I know and what I say are 2 different things, boy. I haven't lasted as long as I have in this business without knowing that.
In this business?
Sure, the greetings card business.
Oh, please. Does the image of a knight holding a crystal ball mean anything to you?
Hell no. What would a knight want with a hunk of glass?
I don't know. That's the problem.
What's wrong, boy?
It's not a crystal ball. It all came together in my head. What the conspirators had mentioned losing. The strange perspective of the manuscript. It's a lens. Have you talked to Nijo?
Nijo? He's the youngster on that junk stand, right? Yeah, we've met him. He's a smart kid. Speaks 4 languages, and he's never had a day's formal education. He should go far. Kept trying to peddle garbage on us, though.
You're not going to find much worthwhile around here.
I know that, and you know that. But try telling Pearl. She reckons there's antiquities in them there stands.
You're a long way from home, Dwayne.
Could say the same about
Pearl's
you,
amazing
George.
as well.
Me? Well, I'm just sightseeing, that's all.
Without a camera, kinda lags to come all this way and not take pictures. Mind if I take a picture of you, George?
What? Why? Ow! You could have warned me.
You don't mind, do you, George? The folks back home will be real interested.
What exactly do you do, Dwayne?
Didn't I say? Oh, I run a greeting card company. Yep, we're based in Cleveland, Ohio. Pearl writes the poems for 'em. You ought to ask her to recite some.
Where is your wife, Dwayne?
Pearl? Oh, she's around, looking for bargains.
How long have you been married, Dwayne?
Hell, must be 30 years now.
Shake hands, Dwayne.
Why?
Just being friendly.
Let's just be friendly by keeping our hands to ourselves. Yeah?
Okay, well, I'll see you around, Dwayne.
Count on it, George.
Hello. I was wondering whether you could help me.
Why, hi there, handsome. What can I do for you?
Hi, my name's George. I was just...
Well, it certainly is delightful to meet you, George.
I was...
My name's Mrs. Henderson, but you can call me Pearl, I'm sure.
Okay, Pearl. I was...
So nice to meet a friendly American face so far from home.
Pearl?
Yes, dear?
I was just wondering if you could help me.
Why, sure, precious.
Have you ever heard of a group of knights called the Templars?
Sounds familiar. I remember. Dwayne had a book. The Holy Something and the Holy Something Else, I can't quite recall. I read a little of it.
And?
Seemed like a lot of hooey to me.
I've been talking to your husband, Dwayne.
Oh.
Yeah, he tells me that he runs a greeting card company and you write the poems that go in them.
Oh, yes, indeed. I consider myself the artiste of the family. Tell me, George, would you like to hear one of my poems?
Yes, go on then.
Okay then, darling, here we go. Our sympathy upon this time, when your heart doth break.
I like the doth.
Classy, isn't it? We know the grief that must entail when your schnauzer gets bitten by a snake. Ah, it still touches me. What do you think, George?
It's very specific, isn't it?
You think so? We sell a lot of those, dear.
So, tell me a little about yourself, Pearl.
Me? Oh, a gentleman's
Welcome back.
interest is always so flattering. Well, my husband and I run a greetings card company in a cute little place called Akron in Ohio.
Akron? Cute? Little? You said that your company is based in Akron.
And Dwayne said it's in Cleveland, no doubt.
Well, yes, he did.
Dwayne was in the Marines in Vietnam, you know. Anyway, he got a medical discharge. Thing is, he gets confused. We moved away from Cleveland 5 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean...
He also gets a little paranoid. Thinks he's a spy or something.
I'm so sorry, Pearl.
Don't worry yourself, George. We live with it.
Have you talked to the boy on the bric-a-brac stand?
Oh, you've met him? His name's Nejo, you know. Oh, he's just so cute, I could die. I'd love to bundle him up and take him back to Ohio.
He might not thank you.
I'm looking for something ancient, you know. Something to impress the folks back home. The poor boy was trying to do his best, but we still haven't found anything.
Do you know anything about medieval weaving?
I do a little needlework, but gosh.
It's okay. It was a long shot. I've got to go now, Pearl.
It's been a pleasure, George. Don't be a stranger.
How did this guy make a living selling useless old machine parts in the middle of nowhere? The stand was hawking ancient... He didn't have anything that I needed. The merchant was selling fruit. I decided I might have some later. Hi, what's your name, sir?
Hello, you buy kebab. Most good.
I'd value your opinion on this, sir.
Nah, you buy kebab. None?
Well, goodbye. Have a nice day.
Most good.
In the still air, the smell hung around like bad smells do.
Muruba! Hello, sir!
Does this mean anything to you?
Yes, carpets, yes?
What do you think of this?
Hello, sir! Lovely carpet!
Does this mean anything to you?
Yes, carpets, yes? Ma'a salama!
Not getting anywhere with him.
I figured going out into the countryside was a pretty good way to get lost. Hi there, Dwayne.
Hi there, George. How can I help you, young fella?
What do you think of this?
It's a ball. Big deal.
Do you know the name Merlin?
Nope.
Okay, well, I'll see you around, Dwayne.
Count on it, George.
I hadn't come all this way to seek out curios. There were some great bargains on the shelf, providing you ran a junk museum. Hi, Nijo.
Hello again, sir. And how may I help you this time?
Who's the guy selling the kebabs?
Oh, that's Arto. A miserable blighter, to be sure, sir.
He doesn't seem very happy.
He never is. Day in, day out, a face like a wet Wednesday. Whatever one of those is.
Does he speak any English?
Not cogently, no.
What do you know about that couple?
Oh, they're American.
Is that all?
The chap's a little odd. As for the lady, it's a funny thing. But I get the impression she's a lot cleverer than she's letting on.
That's not a very friendly cat you got there, Nijo.
No, sir. It is a very unfriendly cat.
Why do you keep it?
Oh, it's not mine. It just rests where it pleases. And today it pleases to rest there. As Kipling would say, it is a cat that walks by itself.
Fiercely independent.
And it smells.
So long, Nijo.
Toodle pip, sir.
As I didn't see the point of going all the way over there to get scratched, I stayed where I was. As I didn't see the point of... bad-tempered as well as ugly. Hi, Nijo.
Hello again, sir. And how may I help you this time?
That's not a very friendly cat you got there, Nijo.
No, sir.
Why do you...
Oh, it's
Fiercely independent.
and it's...
Serious. I'll swap it for something off your stand.
Due to seasonal financial considerations, I'm afraid I cannot.
I thought you wanted this thing.
I do, sir. The stand doesn't.
Which in translation meant it's not really my stand, and I'll be in big trouble if I swap anything for something that I want myself.
Alternatively, Is there any service that you require?
Not at the moment, but I'll bear it in mind. So long, Nijo.
Toodle pip, sir.
I hadn't come all... Hi there, Dwayne.
Hi there, George.
Have you seen this man before?
Maybe. Where'd you get it?
I just picked it up somewhere.
Sure. I'm always picking up photos of complete strangers and then asking around.
Ow! Damn it!
There. I've got another picture of a complete stranger. Maybe I'll ask around about this one.
Okay.
Count on it.
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
Ah! Give to me! Give to me! Allah mut!
Many beneficent greetings, my most fortunate possible friend.
Huh? Do I know you, mister?
No, no, and again I say, no. But, my friend, do you not see our mutual good fortune in this meeting?
How frank do you want me to be?
You are a traveler, yes?
Boy, you must be the world's greatest detective.
No, I am told that is Sherlock Holmes of the big forehead and slipper full of shag. I, as contrast, am world's greatest luxury taxi driver.
I can see where this is going.
I am Ultar, taxi driver and luxury guide per excellent, yes.
This I had to hear.
Where does your heart desire to go? Simply mention the name to your obedient servant, and we shall fly there, swift as the eagle.
Oh, well, I don't really want to leave Marib yet, but I'm sure that if I do, you'll be the first to know.
Is good. You know where you want to go, you come to Ultar.
Thanks. See you around, Ultar.
Be having a pleasant day, full of shining experiences and happiness, my friend.
Hi. Nice club you've got here. I was wondering if you could help me. What? I mean, I beg your pardon? I'm sorry, but I don't understand.
No surprise there, all righty. He says sorry, but he not speak English.
But he didn't say anything.
He not have tongue.
No tongue? What happened?
It was bet.
And he lost.
He won. You should see other chappie. Oh, yes.
I hadn't felt a need to spit since I was 12. The outside of the ornate spittoon was beautiful. The inside wasn't. Damn, the door's locked. I'm sorry? Did you say something?
He say you not to go in toilet. Read sign, matey.
Matey?
It lose something in translation.
By staring hard at the notice and squinting, I discovered I couldn't understand a word of it. Hello again, Ultar.
Praise be to Allah. I am blessed with your bountiful presence once more.
This place is certainly hard to find.
Oh, yes, it is most exclusive. The membership can be no more than... Kind sir, What would you guess the population of the village to be?
Gee, I don't know, a couple of thousand?
Then I would estimate the membership to be no more than a couple of thousand.
What do you make of that boy in the market, Nejo?
Nejo? Ha! Ayub's boy is too big for sandals. I speak splendid English, and he laugh. He say, Ultar, you big ox, you split infinitive. I say, I split your head if you stay still long enough. Ha 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 ha! Ho 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 ho! Pretty funny, yes?
Hilarious. You should be on cable. What do you know about the kebab seller?
A most miserable man. Ultar say, cheery up, matey mate, it might never happen. And he say, shut up, Ultar.
Fancy that.
Not at all. Arto has face like the drizzle that falls on the midweek afternoon, whatever that is.
Have you met the American couple?
Have Ultar met them? Have Ultar met them? Yes, Ultar have met them.
And?
They most ungenerous. Ultar offer to show them wonders of countryside. They say, is there anything ancient? Ultar say, yes, of course. Nature is ancient. They say, no, anything ancient made by men. And Ultar say, have you seen Taxi? Fan belt older than Ozymandias. Ha 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 ha! But they gone.
Could you tell me what that sign means?
It's a door stay shut until brush come back. Signed, the management.
Oh, what does that mean?
Manager buy lovely new toilet brush, leaves it by wash basin for 10 minutes, come back, it been stolen. Not even out of wrapper. He damn cross. Lock up toilet and say, nobody use fine pristine toilet until brush given back. We say, what we do till then, eh? He say, cross legs and use superior willpower.
And that's what you've been doing?
No. Ultar use bucket.
Do you know anything about the Templars?
Of course.
Yes? What can you tell me?
Great she-bop band of the 60s.
No, that's not really...
Who put the bop in the bop, 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 bop?
Yeah, eternal questions. Have you seen this man before?
Oh, most certainly. Was here only yesterday.
Here? Yesterday? My God, he's close.
Yes, he was asking a lot of questions, just like you.
What did he ask about?
He asked about American called Stoby.
Stobart?
Yes, Stobart. You know him.
The killer knew my name. What else did he ask about?
He asked about German man called Klobner.
I tried to remember the name of the man the conspiracy had lost in Syria. Was his name Klausner?
Sure, that is what Ultar said. Klausner. I told this man in the picture, Klausner wanted to go up to Bull's Head.
Hold on, he wanted to go where?
Bull's Head. Big hill, 10 mile out of town. Maybe 60.
When was that?
Oh, maybe a week ago.
What can you tell me about this Bull's Head Hill?
It's most magnificent. Lovely views. Worth visiting. Yes, by indeedity.
How do I get there? No. Let me guess.
You need fine luxury guide to take you there in air-conditioned taxi.
Woe is me. Where can I find such a guide?
And Ultar is most luxurious guide for most literally some way, in any direction.
Gee willikers, lucky old me.
Are you desirous of my pleasant and luxuriant service?
All right, let's go.
First, I regret the formalities. A trip to the Bull's Head, $50 Yankee dollars, please.
$50? I don't have $50.
Oh, most unhappy event. Ultar then sorry, but he cannot take you on ride of lifetime.
Hold on, Ultar. Is there nothing I could barter with you?
Word that it was so, beloved friend. But my taxi needs gas, and its muffler needs the muffler doctor. Trading for these things is not possible. My heart weeps for the injustice, but it's bucks or zip, or unfortunate American.
Well, I still don't have any cash on me, American or otherwise.
Oh, unfortunate, most extreme. The delights of the Bull's Head Hill then must wait, I fear.
It has been a while, Mickey, to be honest. did build a few cars on that. Like, well, not on stream, so they need testing on Beam. So I might kick that up a little bit later. I will be having a break after we've done a little bit more on this in this area. I think what we'll do is I'm gonna have a break, get some food, get a coffee, and then we'll build an engine or something. Build a nice little V6, I think, like a little high revving, high performance V6. See if we can get like 1,000 horsepower out of it. Ooh.
Well, I still don't have any cash on.
Oh,
See you around, Ultar.
Meg.
There wasn't much point in trying to launch an in-depth conversation when I couldn't speak Arabic and he couldn't speak. Period.
I can, but it's time consuming, and it would take a lot of time away from actually playing games. I'd have to spend like about, I don't know, my editing skills aren't great. I can edit, but not great, and it takes me a long time, so I'll probably be spending more time editing than I would do playing, and at the moment in time, I can't be bothered.
Hello again, Pearl.
Why, hello, George. It's such a pleasure to see you again.
Have you ever heard of a hill called the Bull's Head?
No. No, I haven't. Is it nearby?
I'm not sure.
Sounds awful romantic. The Bull's Head Hill.
Have you met the taxi man, Ultar?
Heavens, yes. What a big man. Very muscular.
But you didn't go for a ride.
Why, George, you're absolutely the most... Oh, you mean a taxi ride? No, Dwayne wasn't interested, so it didn't happen.
Have you seen this man before?
No. A friend of yours?
No, not really. I've got to go now, Pearl.
It's been a pleasure, George. Don't be a stranger.
Hi there, Dwayne.
Hi there, George. How can I help you, young fella?
Have you ever heard of a hill called the Bull's Head?
Can't say as I have. Where's that?
I don't know. I'm trying to find out.
Bull's Head, huh? I must remember that. Sounds scenic.
Have you met Ultar?
Almost luxurious air-conditioned taxi ride, mister.
Yeah, the cabbie.
Tried to pull a bunco on us. Take us on a wild goose chase off into nowhere.
Okay, well, I'll see you around, Dwayne.
Count on it, George.
Hi, Nijo.
Hello again, sir. And how may I help you this time?
I met an interesting guy earlier, a cab driver.
Ah, that would have to be Ultar, a barbaric sort of chap.
Oh, he's not that bad.
You know how he speaks in Pidgin English? That's how he speaks in Arabic too.
Have you seen this man before?
No, sir. I'm glad to say. Cold eyes.
So long, Nijo.
Toodle pip, sir.
Suddenly, I realized the horrific truth. The guy was basting the kebabs with a toilet brush. What do you think of this?
Buy kebab? Come to eat?
Well,
most good.
Hi, Nijo.
Hello again, sir. And how may I help you this time?
Seriously, do you really think this thing's so great?
Take it away, you tempter.
Look, this is going to sound a bit strange, but I need Arto's brush.
What? The brush he bastes the kebabs with?
Yes.
Let me find some dirty postcards for you instead.
Nijo, this is serious. Arto stole that brush he's using from a friend, and I want to get it back.
Perhaps I could help you, old chap. Maybe? Perhaps?
Maybe what? Perhaps what?
I do not wish to seem mercenary, sir, but I am a merchant, and merchants trade.
Merchant? This isn't Sears and Roebuck here.
Well, if you're going to be disagreeable...
No, you're right. What would you like?
I seem to recall that you have something that might alleviate my boredom. A globe of delight, a Rubicon spheroid of heavenly pleasure.
You mean the ball, don't you?
A tiny spherular form that barely spans my hand, yet promises hours of amusement.
If you mean the ball, why don't you just say so?
Can I have the ball back, mister?
All right, here you go.
Thank you, sir. People say bad things about Americans, but you're okay in my book.
What people? What bad things?
Never mind that now. Remember the brush?
Right, yes, the brush.
All you have to do with Arto is be polite. It lightens his day, makes it all worthwhile for him again.
How can I be polite to the guy when I can't speak a word of Syrian?
Arabic.
That's what I meant.
Simply memorize this phrase. Il-ach il-kalb.
Il-ach il-kalb.
Close enough. Now, go over to Arto and deliver those honeyed words even unto his delicate ear. He won't be able to do enough for you.
Really?
Really.
So long.
Toodle pip, sir.
Hello again, sir.
Hello. Kebab? Yes?
Il-akul kalb?
Filthy. Bad. I'll kill you.
Whoa, calm down. Feet, do your thing.
I think I got away. Right, his toilet brush isn't there anymore. So, I think Nijo will have it.
What the heck did you tell me to tell him?
Patience, sir.
Patience? Patience? I've been chased by a homicidal kebab seller, and you expect me to be patient?
But consider, sir, while you were running from the irate Arto wasn't using the brush.
Hold on. Are you telling me that I've been used as a diversionary tactic?
Your brush, sir.
I can't believe that you put me on that kebab seller's death list for a toilet brush.
The ends justify the means, sir.
Yeah, but I noticed it wasn't your butt that was on the line, though.
They also serve who only stand and wait, sir.
Oh, spare me. Thanks for getting the brush and risking my life to do it.
Anytime. Glad to be of service.
So long, Nijo.
Toodle pip, sir.
Right, now we've got the toilet brush. I think we'll have a break. I'll get some food. I'll get a coffee, and then we'll come back and we'll probably play some automation or something like that. It'll be I don't know. We'll play a bit of automation. Mickey asked about it, and it has been a while. And there's those cars that we need to try out. So I'll probably stick Beam on, but we'll be playing a bit of automation. Yeah, we'll do that. So, if you're not following, make sure you follow. You'll get a notification when I go live. And if you got to the end of this stream on YouTube, well done. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.